Oh.
With 1.8 seconds, Charles Barkley. Over Hot Rod Williams. 1.9 left in regulation. Jeff and hit it.
Richardson up ahead. Look out. Hello, Amari Stoudemire elevates and detonates.
What? What was that? What was that? A new intro, new logo. What is happening, Planeteers? Welcome in. It's I feel like we're a cereal box brand. New look, same great taste. I am your host, Jake, aka Fallen Founder, and let's check out the thriller from Manila. Kev, how we doing out there?
Hey, I'm the co-host, Kevin here from the Philippines, and a fantastic week. Although just one loss, but still, when you have a record of above 500 in a week, then that's always a good time.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's as we discussed backstage. Any other week, this is an amazing week, a 3-1 week, and with one loss coming against a playoff facing team. I'll put it that way. They call the T-Wolves that. I think they'll make the playoffs, but you still it's after the up and down last several weeks. You're waiting for that 1 week where it's just all right. We put them all away before you can really feel that turn the corner. But we got some good stuff going. That's the important thing. And so let's take a look at it because we already are running late. But I wanted to make sure that you guys saw the new goods, the new Suns Planet podcast logo, the top right of your screen, at least top right of mine. I don't know. Above Kevin's head. Is it above your head on your screen too, Kev?
Yes.
No,
top right.
There we go. So we got that, and we had that new intro music, so it sounds a little bit less like the 1980s Transformers having sex, which was the accurate feedback I'm told that we were dealing with. So shout out to John Voida of Suns Jam, BrightSide of the Sun, managing editor, for helping us put that together. Very much appreciate that. Because 9 a.m., you guys might be doing stuff, family stuff. You don't want Transformer sex right out of the gate. It might be jarring. Especially for you Phoenix folks, if you're getting ready to go to bed, like Matt might be out in the UK. What's up, Matty? Then again, Transformer sex, probably not what you want to lay your head down and go off to La La Land for a while with. So we're excited that we were able to get past that. And let's talk about the Washington Wizards game, which I have already forgotten about, Kevin. So I'm hoping you can take a little bit of the lead here. What did you think of the 119-109 win against the worst team in the league?
You know what? I can't save you on this one because remember the last time that we did a pod, I opened a bottle of a Red Horse and I fell asleep. So by the time I
one and
woke
done.
up,
That's what they call Kevin out there in the Philippines. One and done, Kevin. That's all it takes. Jay-Z and Kevin salute. Just takes one to knock him out.
Sounds like I was in bed or something. But anyway, I watched the replay league pass. It was close, I believe. Too close for your liking. That score of 10 or that differential of 10 points is not something that I expected. On a poor team or going up against a poor team. So
poor team. Are you telling me that Jordan Poole and Kyle Kuzma and wasn't he the second overall pick, Alex Sarr, cannot carry their team to some amazing wins? They've also got Suns' favorite Jonas Valanciunas. As I butcher that name again for the millionth time, and I actually think he's a phenomenal player. Kyle Kuzma actually decided to try and make buckets this game. Which was a little bit of a surprise compared to his previous game against the Suns.
Trying to up his value in the trade deadline.
Take me away from this place. Actually, what's funny? I did just read an article about what happened to Kyle Kuzma, and I'm like, I don't know what anyone was ever seeing in Kyle Kuzma. That's just me. I know some people thought he was good. Matthew Lissy, Suns Jam, used to love the idea of getting Kyle Kuz to come in and be like the third member of a big three. Like it was going to be Chris Paul, Devin Booker, Kyle Kuzma. I'm like, nah, the Kuz. I'm not ready.
Didn't you think it was good during the Laker days?
I
Well, he
think
was
that
too
might have
young.
been. I was more of a Randall fan because that was kind of the same era when it was D'Angelo Russell, Kuzma, and Randall. I think were their because they're desperate for a while. People forget that there was a streak there of LA years where they had zero star power.
Yeah.
Felt very uncomfortable. Post Kobe and or at least post
Pre
Kobe
LeBron.
dominance era, yeah, and pre LeBron. So there was a few years. Of course, they turned things around a little bit faster because everyone wants to go to LA. Everyone wants to go to the city experience some fires, which I heard
I
are
wouldn't.
being
Yeah,
put out. So that would you would go? You'd go live in LA?
I wouldn't.
Oh, you
And
wouldn't. It's
yeah,
expensive. Shocker. For those who might not know, but it is an expensive place to live. Plus, if you don't like commuting to and from work, I'm told it's not probably the place for you.
really? They have like trains, right?
No,
Oh,
they
that's
had
San Francisco. It's not. I was thinking
right.
about
Well,
San
and those
Francisco.
are you're thinking like you're thinking like the trolley system there.
Yeah.
No, so California. Look at me getting into the weeds. You got my political antennae all up, but they put like billions down for high speed rail, and they built like 2 miles of it, and then they just stopped and said they're not going to finish it, and they were supposed to like go throughout the entire state of California with high speed rail.
Okay.
So it's kind of an unfortunate deal because I really wanted to see some high speed rail out there, but yeah, unfortunately, they didn't get it done. They have a lot of red tape. Anytime they're trying to build stuff, they got to check. It like the average is like 5 years every time they want to do a project out there, just to study what's going to happen. But that's not what we're here to talk about. We're still talking about beating up on the Wizards. and although Kyle Kuzma had 30 and Jordan Poole had 19, they were answered by Kevin Durant's 29 on 11 of 19 shooting. And hey, Nick Richards. Big Dick Nick. I'm going with Big Dick Nick. I like some of the other nicknames I've seen, but Big Dick Nick just seems so smooth. It's a smooth one. Do you think Big Dick Nick is smooth?
I don't want to comment on that, but sure.
If anyone should, it'd be the man from the sensual salute. I would think that would be the man that would understand and feel comfortable enough to talk about the man that had 20 and 19, including 6 offensive rebounds. And Devin Booker chipped in 18 along the way. Not a great shooting night. 0 of 8 from 3-point land. Not his best game.
Yeah.
And Bradley Beal, revenge game against the Wizards. Kind of 20 points off the bench and almost 39 minutes of play. It's almost like he's starting. With the minutes he got in this game. But let me ask you this real quick. How about this for a Wizards take? Do we lose this game without Nick Richards?
Do we lose this game without Nick Richards?
Oh, and thank you, Mr. Yes.
I'm going to say no. No, we
You're going to
still
say
win.
no? Okay.
Yep.
You think we still win this one? Okay, just so you know,
Yes.
Mason Plumlee had 4 points on 1 shot.
Well, he didn't really have to do much because
and 8 rebounds. That's true because Nick was doing it all. So, you're probably right. We probably still come out unscathed, and we did win by 10. But man, it was. I'll be honest. So we'll talk about this a little bit later. I lost money on this game. I thought, oh, you know what? The Suns will. The Wizards are horrible. They're not like, oh, they're scary, like athletic. There's some athletes that they might run us off the floor. It wasn't. I didn't feel that Hornets sense of doom. Like, oh my gosh, they're going to run past us. I thought nobody wants to be here. Even the rookies that are on their rookie contracts there and got drafted early, they are just like, okay, so these are just practice years, right? I mean, they're just the vibe in Washington, and I actually have to go out there in a couple of months. It's not good, but they've accepted that, and it's all part of the process for them now. So to win by 10, I think we were favored by 12 and a half, if I'm not mistaken. Came up a little bit short on that, which was the only bummer. But I'm not going to complain too much about a 10-point win against any team. So let's just call that what it is. A decent win. Thanks for that.
Oh my goodness.
Be careful flying there. We've had some aviation concerns in the U.S. Over the last few days. Let's focus on what really got really got you feeling sensual, Kev. I'm going to guess it was the LA Clippers game. Clippers, a team that is ahead of us in the standings by a game or two, 26-20, and yeah, they were 26-20. We were 24-21, or that I believe that's the after this win standings. But either way, Clippers have been playing well. They have Kawhi Leonard. Kawhi Leonard, I think, is still on kind of a minutes rotation. They ended up putting him on the bench at the end of the game.
Right.
But I think that's just kind of to, kind of ramp him up a little bit too. Like they're just not going to take any chances to try and squeeze regular season games. So, yeah, tell me about the Clippers win. That was a big one, and just in case anyone missed it, sorry, 111-109.
111-109. It's that close. Every time we face this Clipper team, it's always a blast, don't you think? But just one last thought on the Wizards game. KD just mouthed some of the best trash talk that he had on that he had ever on that game. So if you haven't checked that out or you haven't know, please check out the Twitter account that's the leaks, the trash talk leaks account. Go ahead and check that out. KD talking to the bench of the Wizards. But yeah, for the Clippers.
Okay, I'm sorry. Hold on, I'll play this.
They go to Kevin Durant. Out to Durant. Here's his three.
Now, don't get me wrong. The easy money sniper, one of the best to ever do it. I feel like if you're trash talking the bench of the Wizards, though, I mean, it's kind of they've won 6 games. Like they are 6-38.
They were trashing Nick Richards, so KD being a good teammate.
I think they're just trying to help time pass. I think there's nothing else going on for them. They don't have $2 hot dogs in Washington, so there's really nothing going on for the Washington Wizards right now.
And they probably overcharge hot dogs in their arena with that kind of record. Anyway, so if you're curious of what I'm drinking, it's a probiotic drink. I'm taking care of my intestines today. So for the Clippers and the Suns game, so
no. Let's not just jump past that. Like, why don't you break down your new sponsor that you got there, Kevin? And what's happening with your intestines?
It's called Yakult. I'm okay, but.
Drink it every day, so my intestines feel right.
Exactly. But let's just go back to the Suns here, okay?
We can do that. Yeah, we can do that.
Clippers, again, it's always a fun game whenever the Suns face these guys, and it's so close. And I genuinely believe that if Kawhi is not on a minutes restriction, we lose this game. Being this close.
Yeah, I did have a nice little guest appearance on Suns Jam with Matthew Lissy, and lately they've been doing a segment of basically, when did you know that the game was over? And I said, after the last second shot did not go in. Clippers. I was, baby. I thought that the full court heave was had a shot.
It had a good line.
It did. I was, oh boy. I need to check my intestines after that. I'll put it that way.
Remember Joel Embiid's heave a couple of years back? Almost went in. Almost banked it in. But yeah, good thing for the Suns. They were eaten alive in the paint here. 60 points.
This was not the Nick Richards game.
Yeah, it wasn't. And actually, Darth Voida put out a stat over there a couple of days ago about Nick Richards' play against stronger teams, against the weakest teams or weak teams. And it's very interesting. So we still have a little bit of a sample size there, but I'm hoping for the best for him, of course. And the game earlier last night should be a good stepping stone for him about him playing better against good teams. But yeah, going back here, Zubats really handed over to the Suns with this monster double game, and of course his presence in the paint. But thankfully, it's a bounce back game from Book.
Mhm.
He had 26 points here, 50% 3-point shooting after 0 for 8 against the Washington Wizards. So it was a great game for him. But yeah, against again the Suns versus the Clippers, always a blast to watch.
Mhm. Um, Let me ask you a couple of quick questions on this game. Some things that I thought were interesting. One is, and you already touched on him. I'm going to butcher his first name, Vika Zubac. I just Zubac. That's how I call him. Is he the most underrated center in the game? Do you think and just for reference, he had 25 points on 12 of 17 shooting, 16 rebounds, 4 assists. I feel like when people talk about the Clippers, unless you're a basketball fanatic of just the NBA in general, when they're doing the billing of the LA Clippers coming to town, they're like James Harden, Kawhi Leonard, Norman Powell is leading them in scoring. Like Zubac is not mentioned except for when you're watching the game. They're like, people forget about Zubac. And so that's my question to you. Is he the most underrated center right now in the association?
I think in his production, at least against the Suns, when we see him, is he's really undervalued, right? Underappreciated with those numbers. I'm not sure how he does in terms of a per game basis, but at least against the Suns is always good. Um, yeah,
He gives us, he's at 15.2 points a game this year, 12.8 rebounds, 2.5 assists. I I feel like he's been doing this for a long time. Maybe
yeah.
not. Okay, no, they're running him a lot more minutes this year. Over 31 minutes a game this year. He usually got about 20. Like last year 26, the year before that 28, 24, 22, 18.
Uh,
So they're
so
really
you'd
finally
expect the
letting him
numbers
kind
to
of
go
run
up.
a little bit. So I think maybe it's a little bit of a show off year. I mean, with Leonard obviously injured for so much of the season, James Harden can't do it by himself. Norman Powell, he's not going to do much for you in the paint.
Yeah,
Just give it to a big guy that just sits there and waits for his chance to abuse you in the post.
yeah. I think he's like a traditional center out there. He's gonna back you down. He's gonna grab a lot of boards. He's good off the PNR, but I don't think he's like a really a good 3-point shooter. I don't think
No,
he even like to attempt one.
no, he doesn't.
So yeah, so
He's
yeah,
old school in his offense, that's for sure. But I
yeah,
think he's manageable on his defense. I'm not going to say that he's like, a center that can really run out like a Chet Holmgren and guard you, in a spread
right.
5 offense. But I think Zubac holds his own in terms of kind of that lateral quickness, switching screen, chasing guys out to the 3-point line. But yeah, I mean, he's a good
I
player.
think about
Every time we play him, you're right. It's just like as soon as he gets he knows the Suns do not like to play much stuff inside, so he's just like, I'll just go down
right.
that low post, and at some point, people are just going to start feeding me the ball, and I'll go on a 8 point scoring binge, and until they decide to start doubling me or something.
Yeah.
And are you surprised at all? I got to ask you this: Norman Powell is leading the Clippers in scoring. We talked about this
No,
last week, right? Yeah. How
yeah,
I don't think
but
you can't have Norman Powell take you to the finals.
yeah, you can't expect him to take you to the finals. That's Kawhi's and James Harden's job. But I'm not quite surprised with this point production, especially James Harden's been handling the ball for them.
Hmm.
So you're gonna get your production.
Hmm. Well, then the second question I had for you, because that was kind of an add-on, but the Suns. I don't know if you remember. It's been a long season. What we did not want to do is run the big three into the ground. We had injury concerns. We wanted to make sure that they were well rested in time for the playoff push. Just to give you a quick rundown, Kevin Durant played just over 40 minutes in this game. Devin Booker just over 39 minutes, and Bradley Beal just over 33 minutes. And we ran a 8-man rotation. Bradley Beal, Grayson Allen, Mason Plumlee off the bench. Bol did not play. Colin Gillespie did not play. Oso Ighodaro did not play. Damian Lee, Monty Morris, of course, the brooding emperor, Yusuf Nurkic, and Ryan Dunn was injured as well. Are you worried at all, or is this just more like, yeah? I mean, I guess how do you view it? Is coach just like, hey, we just got to get the wins at this point, or else we might not even make the playoffs? Or yeah, I mean, or are you concerned that like Bud's just he's going to run these guys out of gas and before we even get there? Like, how would you balance it? I guess would you follow the Bud method?
I don't think when it's an interesting topic, really, because well, Coach Bud isn't Tom Thibodeau. That's what we know. Um, but I am really concerned about the minutes that Katie has played, relative to his age and his injury history. But
In fairness,
until
we haven't seen drop offs, right?
yeah, but until you can find a consistent, you know, an acceptable offense production from a bench guy, then I don't think Bud doesn't really have a choice.
Mm-hmm. And I might butcher the stat. I was watching. I think it was at ESPN or some of the talking heads talking NBA, and I think it was the Thunder, or I think it was the Thunder. And they're talking about how deep the team was, and basically it was either the Thunder or the Rockets. I think it was either the Thunder or the Rockets, and they mentioned that the starters do not average like over 30 minutes. No, it was the Memphis Grizzlies the starters do not average over 30 minutes a game. They're a young team.
Yeah,
and they're not having to worry about that.
they are fresh.
I mean, how concerned are you?
I don't know. Well, maybe maybe later in the season, prior to the playoffs, when I don't think it's going to happen, but if the Suns have enough wins and have solidified their spot, maybe in the 5th or 6th spot, maybe they can rest these guys, and 2 or 3, or maybe maximum of 2 games of a rest isn't quite bad for those guys before the playoff push.
Well, and that's what Michael P mentions in the chat, that these trades that we were told they're coming. They're coming. If you follow Flex from Jersey, who's now Flex from in Phoenix. If you follow Sham Sharania, any day now. It's all cooking. It's all cooking. But let's just be honest. It's cooking for next Thursday, right? I mean, that's the trade deadline. It's the 6th.
We have a Heat fan in the chat.
Yeah. Hey, Kevin, you want to give us Jimmy? I guess we'll take him. You know what's funny? If I was a Heat fan, I'd feel the same way about Jimmy. Like, if you're going to walk out of practice and not try and help us, then I don't want you here either. But the Suns are just in a position right now where, although we had a good week, 3-1.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
we're still desperate, I think,
after the Timberwolves game, but I don't. Did you catch Suns Jam after the Timberwolves loss?
No, because I turned off the game already. I wasn't interested anymore.
Right. No,
in that 4th quarter.
you know what's funny is I've seen this for the PHNX guys, for the Suns Jam guys, and it's true. Us fans, we play with our hearts too much.
Yeah.
After a win, man, do we want to show up on those YouTube chat sections and be like, yeah, did you see that? That was awesome. And when there's a loss, the amount of viewers drop, and everyone's just like, I'll watch it later.
Nobody it's like, after these guys, I've got so much better things to do.
Exactly. If they're not going to try, then why should I? Well, if you get a chance to check it out, they had Whirlish, the Whirling Dervish.
From Fanning the Flames.
Yes, Spicy P, because he has gone even more so than me into the blow it up. He's willing to talk Booker trades. Now, he does not expect any of this to happen, but he is of the mindset, and he's got that accounting mind. He knows numbers, and I get it. The reason why he's there is just because of the new league rules.
Yeah,
it's so restrictive to have 3 guys on their max contracts. This is not the Golden State Warriors era where you can have 4 max contracts. Curry, Draymond, Clay, Durant.
And still have mid-level exception guys.
Exactly. Yeah, you can't do that as easily this time. You can't just go out and spend your way out of trouble. They tried to, the new league rules would have loved a Robert Sarver. That's the frustration thing, and we've talked about this before. Suns fans, we got everything we wanted and more with this new ownership team, but it's playing the previous set of rules, and that's going to be the most difficult thing. So when it comes to a Jimmy Butler trade, I'm for it. I think it does make us better. I'm a little bit nervous about what we're all going to add to that to make it possible. I think it gives us a shot. Not a great shot. Still a lot of things to fix, but a better shot. But at the same time, after listening to Paul some more, and we'll talk about that here in a moment, but when we move away from this Clippers game. But that I could see, Durant's value it's probably not going to go up next year. I'll put it that way. He'll be on an expiring deal next year if he doesn't sign an extension. If the Suns struggle to make the playoffs, maybe just make the play in. How much does Durant really want to lock in another 3 years at that point?
Don't you think that increases his value by signing an extension?
I think it would, but I think it's harder to convince him to sign an extension if you don't do well in the playoffs.
Yeah.
That's my concern. So we'll see. I'm worried about fool's gold with this last week of 3-1. Just like part of me was just like, if we beat the Clippers, I'd be like, you know what? Maybe we don't even need to make a trade, or maybe trade Nurk because he clearly does not want to be here.
You know what? I'm in the same boat. I was actually like, what if the Suns just offload Nick, or not Nick, but Nurkic, and then just stand pat, just make a little bit of tweaks here and there, and then not do anything major.
Yeah. I would have been open to it, but I'll talk about why I'm not willing to do that. But I did want to highlight, you mentioned Devin Booker had a great game. Of course, Durant does. They chose to start Royce O'Neal in this one. So something we forgot to mention the Wizards game. Ryan Dunn went down early, like first couple minutes of the game went down. So everyone was saying, does this mean Beal's back in the lineup? Coach says no. Going more defense, Royce gets the start. Beal still plays a ton, over 33 minutes, only 9 points, but and 4 turnovers. So not a great Bradley Beal game. But Grayson Allen, 18 points, 6 of 10, 4 of 7, 6 rebounds. He's on a tradable contract. How upset would you be if the Suns traded Grayson Allen now?
I'm going to be pretty angry.
Right.
Because outside of the big three, he's the most consistent offense so far from that bench.
And is it just me, or does Grayson Allen's body language mirror that of all the Phoenix Suns fans? Because we've talked about before, with all of his gray hair, he looks older than he is. So I feel like he kind of looks like that aggravated Suns fan that sometimes, like when we're not doing well, he's like, "Oh, dang it, man, just try. Just got to get up there and try." And then he'll go and like take it hard to the rack. And you're just like, whoa, Grayson has it. Like that old man strength comes back. And then you remind yourself that he's like still in his 20s. Grayson Allen makes me believe in myself. That's why I like Grayson. But no, at the end of the game, the Suns, of course, ended up winning by 2. He had a shot, a free throw shot, to put us up by 3 with about, I think it was like 1.2 seconds left or something like 1.3. No timeouts for the Clippers.
That was Bradley Beal.
What's that? That was that.
Put us 3. And then Grayson missed his first shot of the free throw, and then he purposely missed the second one.
That's right. Okay, but that was the important thing, was that Allen missed. So you see a little discussion from the sideline. Bud's doing and Allen and then Allen does that, and I think everyone was surprised because I think Bud was like, "What are you doing?" But you saw Allen going to the coaches afterwards, being like, "Well, look, they have to rebound, catch the ball, chuck the ball." What would you have done in that situation? Would you do the purposely miss to try and get them to have because if you're the Clippers, it's going to be like probably a big man, trying to rebound it and then just chuck down the court, or do you go for the for sure comfortable they can only tie us free throw. But then they get to take it out from the backcourt and try and chuck it down to a 3-point shooter.
I think the Bud's point is the time remaining, because obviously there was enough time to, pull up a heave rather.
Yeah.
So if it was just like 0.7, 0.8, then I'd miss the free throw. If there's like one a second and change on that clock, then I would make it.
Okay.
If I'm a good free throw shooter in the first place, but
Salute. All right. Well, let's talk a little bit about. Actually, you know what? Let me catch my breath and give you a break. And if I can ever find it, let's go grab a drink.
What's the name of that nightclub of yours again?
You talking about the Boom Boom Room?
Yeah, the Boom Boom Room. That's it.
All right. Welcome back into the Boom Boom Room, everybody. And I think it's just more comfortable to be in here when we talk about this loss that was just very painful to watch. Minnesota Timberwolves, good team, 26-21. It sounds weird to say that they're a good team with just 5 games over 500. But they took care of business. The Suns went up early in we had the lead in the first half. I think it was 4 points going into the first half. We ended up dropping this game. Timberwolves 121 to the Suns 113, as we just got dismantled in the second half with hard-nosed play that I hate to say it, but I'm going to say it also because I like wrestling. Kev walking away during the drop is soft. SAWFT. No, that's exactly and the T-Wolves know this. They know this from the playoff run. That if they just sit there and, this was actually why I was a little bit nervous. I know when our old main man Hamo used to be on, he was like, Karl Anthony Towns for Randall and, and Dante DiVincenzo. No worries. Timberwolves are going to take a massive step back. I think statistically they have probably taken a step back. But otherwise, I think Randall is more hard-nosed than Karl Anthony Towns ever was. And I think Dante DiVincenzo is as well. Now, we didn't play Dante. He was out. And Naz Reid was also out. So you would have thought maybe the Suns have some advantages here.
No, they were being
Ryan Dunn was back for us. It didn't seem to matter.
They were eaten by Julius Randle in that first half.
Yeah.
In the paint. Now, the thing is, it brought back memories of last year playoffs, right? And it's the same old story that, when you rough up the Phoenix Suns, they tend to lose their focus.
Mm-hmm.
And it's still true to this day.
Well, we've seen it time and again. Going back to the Kevin Durant in Brooklyn era, where the Celtics and everyone finally realized if you shove him off of his spots, he's not really strong enough usually to press back. And he can get pretty frustrated and start missing some deep twos. Deep twos, you're looking at rebounds. Suns do not have a great rebounding team. So usually that's going to be a pretty smart move. Devin Booker, you trap him, you double him. He gets frustrated with double teams. He's gotten better at it. But I think that's the way you handle the Suns, and Bradley Beal's just not as good as Bradley Beal used to be. So you just take your chances, I think, with a Bradley Beal out there. And this is something the Timberwolves can do. Rudy Gobert, Jaden McDaniels, Anthony Edwards, Mike Conley, really old man Mike at this point. 6 points and 6 assists. But he's still, I think, a pretty decent little defender out there. Nickeil Alexander-Walker is a good defender to come off the bench for you as well. And, when he plays, Dante DiVincenzo and Naz Reid, both those guys can be good defenders as well, too. So it was frustrating. I did ask this to some Suns fans that night, too. Anthony Edwards, is he the most punchable face in the NBA now?
Well, I would still pick What's that guy's name? Forgot
Luca,
the guy's name.
Pat Beverly,
No,
Dylan Brooks.
not Luca. Dylan Brooks. Yeah,
Okay,
I still pick
I
Dylan
know
Brooks.
all the usual suspects. Yeah,
Pat Bev is joining that top five of mine for
yeah.
sure. But no, not Anthony Edwards, not yet.
It's fun. You know what it is for me, and I shared this with the guys because I said I think that I would be even a little disappointed if he was on the Suns. And there was some, oh no, you'd like him if he was on the Suns. You'd be like, that's my guy. Anthony Edwards is tough if he played for the Suns. I don't know. I think he's a punk. Like I just kind of think he's a jerk. Like I like how Booker talks trash, and he doesn't like apologize for it or kind of like give you a smile. He just talks trash to your face. And
Move
whereas
on.
Anthony Edwards. Man, I would if there was a Detroit Pistons bad boy era like right now in the league, like he would be getting smoked every time he'd come into the lane. Like I feel like he runs his mouth a lot, and he's good. He's a very good player. I don't think he's elite yet, and so I think it's kind of interesting. He's the offensive weapon of the Timberwolves, which is a very defensive focused team, and he's a good defender. But I don't think that he's not like on the Kevin Durant level. He's not on, one of these top scoring levels in my mind yet in terms of offensive prowess, but he talks like he is. And my God, this is why I wish Nurk would just like embrace a new role and Bud would give him this role of just, hey, you have 6 fouls. You're 300 pounds. Anyone comes in here, tell them that they should not have come in here. And hard fouls each time. Let's use that because now we have Bol, Oso, Nurk, Nick Richards. We have a lot of beef inside. Not one of them is altogether very good, Plumlee, but we have a lot of options. I would like to see them actually just used and do that kind of stuff, but they won't. That's not the style of play that they like because we're soft. SAWFT. So. Yeah, no, this was just a tough game to watch.
We don't play like that.
No. And I wish we would. Just that's I miss that that kind of Jay Crowder edge. He was probably the closest we've had in a while to that kind of enforcer type player. DeAndre Ayton was never going to become that. Gosh, we'd have to go back a ways to find like another maybe PJ Tucker.
PJ Tucker is a guy that I think of. But to that point, would you welcome Pat Beverly in here?
No. Well, it depends what we're looking at. But this is one of the reasons why it intrigues me to do a Jimmy Butler deal because
he's that guy.
A little bit of fire. Yeah.
Yeah.
I could see Jimmy Butler getting in somebody like a Mason Plumlee's face being like, dude, you don't score points. What do you do on this team? Go knock somebody's head off next time they come in here. It's. I'd like to see it. I'd like to see somebody get a little bit more hardcore. We'll say. But yeah, the Suns struggled in this one. They were led by Kevin Durant, who played well. 33 points, 13 of 19 shooting, 7 assists. But the Devin Booker double teams were too much, as he had 8 assists to 9 turnovers. 28 points, 11 of 19 shooting, and Bradley Beal chipped in third most with 17 points, 6 assists. It was really basically shut out everyone that wasn't Durant and Booker, and then just constantly make Booker lose the ball. That was kind of how I viewed it the second half. Nobody could bail out the Suns, and it just once the Timberwolves grabbed that lead, and I think they went up 10. I was like, I don't see it. I don't see a counterpunch on this team to what the Timberwolves do. Do you?
No, I think there's the Wolves are just their kryptonite and don't hope. I don't want them to see in the playoffs in the early rounds.
No, yeah. Remember last year when we were going in? I think we swept them in the regular season, and we're like,
yes,
get ready for another sweep. We got these guys. It's over.
Yeah, I remember you making that prediction that it's going to be.
Yes, I did make that prediction. I was wrong, sports fans.
Well, you're right. There
was a lot of us though saying that too. I was simply a man within the chorus, within the choir, saying that we were going to sweep. It kind of reminds me right now of Steve Nash, 7 seconds or less Suns every time they'd run into the San Antonio Spurs.
San Antonio Spurs.
Yeah.
Their bugaboo, always.
Exactly. Ginobili, Tony Parker, Tim Duncan. It was just like no matter what we did, they would slow the pace, grab the boards, play defense. We would end up missing some more shots, and they would shove us out of the way and hip check us into the stands, and we'd lose the series.
Tim Duncan starting hitting trees. So.
Oh God, yeah. So that this was the tough game to watch because it was like a slow kill. It was like watching, it was just like a slow burn of just like, oh, this team's not ready still, and because I wasn't going to take a lot from the Wizards win. The Clippers win gave me some hope, and I thought if we beat the Timberwolves, then watch out here. No, Timberwolves reminded us we still got a long road to go.
And
but,
I don't know what's in that locker room. Every time they go into that after the first half, it just sucks the life out of them.
I don't know. Maybe they need to change like what they're doing. Like it's halftime instead of like going in the locker room to talk. They should just start shooting shots like right away. Just go right into warm ups. Just start warming up the team again. Keep that team hot. Because something's happening to this group.
Or maybe don't change jerseys. Those cool jerseys. Oh gosh.
Well, it's funny. We talked a little bit about this. We'll move to this. Our last game to cover from this week was the Golden State Warriors, which I believe going into it, the Suns were favored just by 2.5 points, if I'm not mistaken. We end up winning 130-105 against the 500 Golden State Warriors. Now, the Golden State Warriors did not have Draymond Green. They did not have Jonathan Kuminga. And they were only favored by 2.5. Even I was just like, Vegas, I don't know, man. I think you guys are down more on the Suns than I was. So I ended up betting the Suns to win. And then at halftime, I bet on them again. And thank God it helps make up for that inability to cover in the Washington game. But let's give a quick highlight. Hey, the starters were actually somewhat able to rest, except for Booker, 34 minutes. But Booker led the team, 31 points, 5 rebounds, 11 assists on 12 of 23 shooting, 5 of 11 from three-point land. Kevin Durant.
Only 2 turnovers.
Yeah, only 2 turnovers, which is impressive. Yeah. Kevin Durant got to play less than 30 minutes for probably the first time in almost a month. 19 points, 5 of 9 from 3. It was just a solid game overall, and thank God we were able to figure it out. Let's see. Bradley Beal chipped in 21 points, 9 of 12 off the bench. He did have 5 turnovers, though. A little disappointing to see that. But, and the Warriors just had no answer, right? Steph Curry, 14 points, not what you would expect.
That's too passive. I don't know if it was Tyus Jones' defense, which is he's not known for.
I was going to say. What?
Or is it Steph's just being too passive on this game? So I don't know.
Well, to me, it was a little bit like Curry was thinking, what do you want me to do? We just don't have enough weapons here. Andrew Wiggins led the team, and actually, I guess, co-led the team in scoring 17 points apiece. Moses Moody joined him off the bench. Wiggins was 6 of 20, 1 of 5 from three-point land, 8 rebounds, 6 assists. Moses Moody, 5 of 10 shooting.
Moody's a solid player.
You know what's funny? Now that I didn't even realize this at the time, Brandon Podziemski, who is a great little young backup. I say little; he's taller than me. He's 6'4", but he's in his second year in the league. Real scrappy player. But what's interesting that I find about him is he is a awful 3-point shooter, shooting 33%. He shot 4 of 7 against the Suns, and I think last time we played too, he was like over 50% as well. So
most of those 4 are in the garbage time.
Well, still, he was able to knock him down. Dennis Schroeder chipped in 5. He was their kind of first.
He was a Suns cleaner.
What's that? That and the Warriors traded for him like a month or two ago, try and give themselves a little bit of a shot in the arm. He has not done anything. I can tell you that because he was on my fantasy team too, and he was doing great in Brooklyn. Not doing really anything for Golden State. But, this was a game that I take more from, right? It's not the Wizards game. This is, where they have won 6 games and they want the game to get over as fast as possible and get their paycheck and go. Warriors were recently brought up in rumors to want to try and acquire Jimmy Butler.
Yeah.
I don't do that if I'm the Warriors, but
well, reports say that there was concerns about locker room fit and all that, and you can totally understand, given the history of Jimmy Butler. His fiasco in Minnesota, and now with the Heat, so he has that kind of reputation. And I do agree with the broadcast of ESPN earlier with Bob Myers in there. Some teams can make it work with Jimmy Butler, some teams don't. And for the first few years with the Heat, they were able to work with Jimmy Butler. But I don't know with the Suns locker room and James Jones group and Coach Bud on how he's gonna handle a player like Jimmy Butler. So I'm pro Jimmy Butler trade, but I don't know how they're gonna manage it.
Yeah, I still think if you bring in a Jimmy Butler type, you need somebody like a Kevin Durant, Devin Booker there. Because if he becomes kind of what we saw in Miami, I give him when he arrives somewhere, he's not trying to disrupt anything out of the gate. So if he can be the man right out of the gate, he's fine with it. But I think long term, you need other players that Jimmy respects to be in that position. I don't think that Jimmy likes being replaced by a Tyler Hero. In terms of being an offensive focal point in Miami, and especially after what Jimmy's done for that team. So that's kind of my theory on it. But yeah, for Golden State, I mean, with Draymond Green and Jimmy Butler in the same locker room,
oh man,
would that be possible?
There's gonna be like a new punching scandal over there.
Oh my god. I would just imagine Steph Curry always coming out doing this deal, he's always chewing on his mouth guard, just oh my god, just walking out. Coach Kerr just being doing the old forehead.
And that's what you don't want, right? For
yeah.
Steph Curry to ask out. But imagine why was Jimmy Butler suspended the latest? Because he was replaced by in the starting lineup, right?
Mm-hmm.
You remember the Tobias Harris over me type of thing?
Yeah,
that was fun time.
That's true. Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, I appreciate Voido saying we got to fix those overlays sometimes. Yeah, no, you guys don't need to know that. Welcome to the Sun's planet, because we're towards the end of the show. You're right. I need to upgrade that a little bit. That's for sure. Well, let's talk about this. Let's talk about again, important thing. The important takeaway, Kev, 3-1 this week.
Yes,
and it was 2 quality wins. I'll say, I won't call the Wizards a quality win, but it was a win, and it was a tough loss. Imagine going 4-0. I would have loved it, but what we got to talk about.
Shazam!
Who is your Shazam player of the week? Who is getting it done, game in, game out? And I will give you a hint. His name is not Yusuf Nurkic.
I don't think anyone would have picked Yusuf Nurkic.
I asked, was it Grok? Grok is the AI for Twitter, right?
Yeah.
I asked him to create Yusuf Nurkic as the Emperor from Star Wars. I got some interesting photos back. Because he does. He just sits there with his hood on real tight, and he's kind of always just sitting there, and he's very he kind of closed body, holds his arms in his lap, and just yes, struggle without me. Yes, he's just now. I'll give him more credit. He's actually clapping when his team still does nice stuff, but he just looks like he wants to sit back and just be like, I hate everything going on right now.
He's like the Palpatine of Star Wars.
Exactly. That's what I'm waiting for him to be. He's like, oh, I'm not bringing the chaos. There's already enough chaos in the Senate.
I'm bringing oh my goodness! Execute Order 66.
That's right. Yeah. The Trade Federation was just a pawn. Yeah. That gives you an idea. Well, let
Gosh.
me ask you a difficult question real quick before you, before I deviate. I'm already deviating a ton. Before we talk Shazam player, prequels, Star Wars prequels, you like them
Yeah.
or dislike them? And are they better or worse than the sequels?
Prequels. Well, okay. Let me start with my age. My age, I'm 31.
Yeah.
So by the time I have came to know about the Star Wars, it's episode 3 already. Yep.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I wasn't much of a pop culture guy before. Then I saw 1, 2, and then I kind of went chronological. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But I saw the first Star Wars movie that I saw was the third one, and I thought it was freaking amazing. That battle in the that volcano planet.
Okay.
Um, but then I watched 1 and 2. It was really underwhelming. So I'm gonna be I'm more of a sequel guy. Plus the third one, which is part of the prequel. But yeah, I'd
Wait.
leave it at that.
So you like the but
But
do you
I
like
like
the
the Revenge of
original
the
ones
Sith,
the most then?
and yeah, I like
Okay.
the original ones. Yep.
Okay. Because at first, the way I was hearing it in my head, I was like, I like the sequels and episode 3, but the others, like, you're not as big a fan of.
No, because 1 and 2 are prequels, right? Although they
Right.
were shown later.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So sequels are being the 6 or 4, 5, 6 prequels rather. No,
No, the
yeah.
sequels are
Se-
7,
se-
8, 9.
oh, okay. All right. That's
The
what you were
latest
talking
and the
about.
greatest. Yeah.
The Ray thing.
Yeah.
Okay. I like the original best.
Okay. I thought
I
we were
thought you
going
were
to keep
talking
it
about
low
the
here on the
original.
show. No, yeah. So you're right. No, I grew up with the prequels being like the hot thing for like kids to be watching. Like we were into pod racing, whatever that
Yeah.
was. That was for like a 1 episode deal that like just took us by
30 minutes of the
it took our imagination by storm. Yeah, the epic, seeing Yoda fight for the first time was phenomenal. And I'll be honest, I really nerded out on the political intrigue of the whole thing. Like,
Oh yeah.
it all started because of trade tariffs on the planet of Naboo, and it's like, oh, of course, as it does, as it always does.
Always
And then when the
politics.
sequels came out, I remember, I don't know if I suddenly became like that sci-fi fan that was. I feel like it happens to a lot of sci-fi or fantasy genre or like a series where somebody just starts asking too many questions, and that was 100% what I was doing. I remember going to the theater with a friend. I was hyped to see episode 7, and I was like, okay. So we defeated the Emperor. Darth Vader turns into the good guy in the end, or kind of like sort of redeems
Redemption or
himself. Yeah,
something.
Luke
Yeah.
Skywalker, the rebels win. Celebration across the universe. Love it. All over the galaxy, we're partying. How are they going to start something in the 7th? And it's just like, oh, actually, yeah, I mean, they won, but now there's an even bigger, super mega empire, Death Lord, and they have not just like one planet destroyer, but it actually blows up multiple planets, and somehow the good guys just didn't even know where it was being built. It was all done in secrecy. And it's like, I have so many. How do you beat bad, but suddenly they're all stronger? You didn't see it happening, and instead of like a nuclear bomb, it's like now they have like multiple warheads all on one deal, and it's just like, oh,
You would have thought that,
fighting. I felt like, yeah, you couldn't come up with any other way to get through to that. And
yeah.
I
You would have
watched
thought
episode 8, and
the
then I
Jedi.
stopped.
You would
I
have
didn't
thought
even
that the
watch that.
Jedi Order has already conquered the whole galaxy and detecting all these stuff that the dark side is planning. But no,
Mhm.
you know.
Well, that's where I was at. I was like, okay, the good guys won, and then like 15 minutes into the episode 7, it's like a pull away shot of like this giant military force. It's like, you didn't even see us over here. We're even
Did you
stronger than those last guys you just fought.
did you like the last 3 episodes?
No, I actually not seen the 9th episode. I am so sad with the franchise. I think I heard some good things initially about that. Whatever the one was with the Boba Fett looking guy walking around with the Yoda looking kid. and
Yeah.
and some of the spin-off stuff I saw little bits of. But yeah, at this point, it's all starting just to become the 1978 holiday special. Good pop culture reference there, JC. A lot of people don't know about this, and this should stay buried. But that's where I'm at. Just so sorry. Shazam player of the game. Let's put player of the week. Who was
You know what? It kind of relates. We're Sense Planet, and we're talking about Star Wars.
100%. You know, we're floating in space. We're talking heads in space right now.
Our
Who was your
background? Yeah.
episode? Who was your Empire Strikes Back of the week? I'll put it that way.
Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, everyone loves that one, right?
I have KD for this week.
Ooh.
Kevin Durant, 28.7 points per game, and has shot 50 to 54% in the last 4 games from 3. So solid numbers from Durant here. Very consistent as always. How about you, Jake?
He has been Mr. Consistency of late. You know what's funny? Let me take a quick look. I'm going to go with maybe a bit of a surprise. Yeah. I'll play his drop.
My name is what? My name is my name is
Yeah, Bradley Beal. I feel like I'm really kind of enjoying this Bradley Beal off the bench. The last 4 games, 21 points, 17 points, 9 points, and 20 points. And this is all coming off the bench. Now, he's still got to get a little handle on those turnovers, but in 2 of the games, he was completely clean. So just 9 turnovers total across 4 games. Still want to see that come down a bit. But I feel like... Go ahead.
Sorry. You know, it's funny. The first quarter for Bradley Beal earlier or last night was just terrible. I thought we were headed that way. Yeah.
I feel like he is... Well, I think this happens with a lot of bench players, and we kind of tried to turn him into this microwave scorer, but I feel like he's going to be streaky moving forward. He'll come out and just be ice cold, and then at some point in the game, he'll score 8 points in a row, and you'll be like, "Oh, that's what we pay him for." That's not what we pay him for. We pay him a tremendous amount of money to do so much, but that's what we need him to do. And really, off the bench, you're not going to get that from a Royce O'Neal or Grayson Allen very often. So, you know, he's the only one that can kind of take over the game, so to speak, from a reserve role. So, yeah, I think when he got moved to the bench, I thought, okay, we're going to have to move him at the trade deadline, even if it's for scraps, so to speak, because he's going to be unhappy. I think he's actually, unlike Yusuf Nurkic, kind of hanging in there.
Pro.
You know, body language wise, he looks like he's still having fun. We were upset with the fans that were like cussing him out in front of his wife and son the other day. And I think the fans, I think that most normal Suns fans are just like, hey, Bradley's done nothing wrong. It's just not a good fit. But he's finding a way to fit in with the bench unit. So I'm kind of liking that.
Yeah, if I actually feel really bad for the guy, you know, he came in and expecting you know, everything's gonna be smooth, but as it turned out, it's not. And then, you know, we have I'm sorry to say this, but some fans out there are just really the worst. If you're gonna cuss at someone, cuss at Nurkic for throwing.
He won't hear you. That's why his hood is so tight. Yeah,
for throwing his team under the bus.
That can be his role. Just absorb the negative energy.
Right. Oh my goodness.
He looks like God. If this is an old movie line, I'm gonna guess. Well, have you ever seen Ferris Bueller's Day Off? Here's a throwback reference. Okay. Well, I feel like right now Yusuf Nurkic is so uptight on the bench. If you shoved a lump of coal up his ass in a few games, you'd have a diamond because he's just sitting there, just squeezing. God dang, he doesn't want to be there, but he's trying to clap his hands in the most uncomfortable way possible. But yeah. I don't know where our man Nacho is in the chat. Usually he's here to say trade Bradley Beal. He will not like that I gave him the Shazam player of the week. That's for sure.
And just to address something in the chat. So yeah, it's a bad contract. We can't deny that. But you know, I still thank Bradley Beal for being professional at you know.
And that's what I'm getting at in terms of his play. he's hanging in there. You know, he's not pouting. It's not like he's going out taking garbage shots or something like that. I think he's still trying to be very professional and contribute. And I don't think he's not saying in interviews, me and Bud don't even talk. There's so much chaos on this team. Like he's like, oh, we talk all the time because he plays me. Unlike Yusuf Nurkic.
Poor Nurkic can't even get some time in the garbage minutes.
All right, so let's see. What else do we want to touch on real quick?
Trade deadline this week.
What's happening?
You snuck it in right before the drop, but the trade deadline is coming up on Thursday.
We might have.
We got a few games beforehand. 2 against the Blazers. I believe both are in Portland, if I'm not mistaken. So
yes,
I always wish they would do that more often. These back-to-backs, I feel like, it's not even a back-to-back. It's 2 and 3 nights. But I feel like they should do back-to-backs in the same location.
Same city. Yeah.
I don't know why they are like, oh, Suns play the Clippers in Phoenix. Then the next night, Suns play the Clippers in LA. I would just do 2 in Phoenix, and then later in the season do like back-to-back in both in LA. I feel like that would be so much easier for these guys in terms of travel, but at least they'll be able to hang out and enjoy Portland. Who knows? Maybe even Booker will go play some video games with DeAndre Ayton if his driveway isn't frozen, because he's got a few extra days to hang out there. So,
and that brings my question: What do you go for in Oregon, Portland?
Ooh, so Portland is a very kind of hipstery area in the U.S. A lot of microbreweries. They used to have safe drug injection sites. So if you ever wanted to just go do heroin, you could do it. They realized, though, a lot of people that caused a lot of crime. So they finally got rid of that after about a year. Go figure that they couldn't just figure that would happen. But no, Portland's always been funky. If you ever seen the TV show Portlandia, or even just like a clip of it on like a Netflix or something, it's a unique place. I'll put it that way. It's a fairly good sized city too. I don't know. I'll put it this way: if the Blazers were ever a destination place, Kevin Durant would love to chill in Portland. I'll put it that way. He loves to chill. He would love to chill and ball in Portland. That would be a truly chillable city for sure. But it's in the Pacific Northwest. Kind of wine country area too. Oregon's got their Pinot Noirs. If you're a red wine guy, they got some good stuff. So
nice.
That's my guess. If I'm Book, I'm going wine shopping. If I'm KD, I'm going bud shopping. And and if I'm DeAndre Ayton, I'm staying inside my house. I can't get out because I think they're actually experiencing a little bit of snow. They don't get too much of it, but I just came out of Seattle. Yeah, I came back from Seattle yesterday. They were supposed to get snow, and that was even to the north. So, yeah, that's my take on Portland. So, 2 games against the Portland Trail Blazers. We follow that up with a game against the Oklahoma City Thunder, which will be very interesting because that's the night before the trade deadline.
Yeah.
And so we could see a lot of DNPs. This was a prediction last year that I don't think actually took place because it was kind of a quieter trade deadline. But usually the day before the trade deadline, you kind of know what triggers you're going to pull. And so all of a sudden that bench gets real shallow. So, before I ask you your predictions of the games, let's just, what do you think? Let's predict what Suns players won't be here
next week
after Thursday. Yeah.
Oh gosh, this is hard. I'm guessing Bradley Beal's not going to be with the team next week.
Ooh.
I'm guessing either Monty Morris or Tyus Jones is gone.
Okay.
Yeah. So those 3. How about you?
Wait, okay. So Bradley Beal, Monty Morris, Tyus Jones, one of them will be gone?
Yeah.
So those are the 3.
Yeah.
Okay, that's okay. So 2 of them will be gone, is what you said.
And Nurkic. Thank you.
And Nurkic. Okay, so 3. Wow, that's gonna be some roster turnover. I think at this point, I think Nurk is the most likely to go. You just can't have $18 million just sitting there pouting every night. And And I think he's still a good player. Like, I'm sad to see that we're going to probably have to package a first rounder with him just to have somebody
Yeah.
take him. I was hoping that, because something that's kind of happening right now in the league is some teams have been just stockpiling picks, which is generally a good strategy. But I think you're also going to run into some teams that are stockpiling picks, and they're going to have to start like just giving them away like candy to get that slightly upper echelon type player that's really going to make a difference. Whereas we see teams like the Suns that are super hamstrung that are like, we have a second round pick. And oh man, is this the most desirable thing you've ever wanted? Like, you want our second round pick, which used to be garbage. Like, we used to just like give them away for nothing. So it's going to be interesting to see. I wish we don't have to, clear out the cupboards again, but I think we will. I'm going to say Beal is out as well. Now, I think Beal's out, and I think Nurk's out. One guy we mentioned I don't want to see gone is Grayson Allen. I hope we don't have to keep him. Let me ask you this. So I'm going to watch for those two. I like your idea of Tyus or Monty. I just don't know enough to see who's going to be interested in that. Maybe one team will throw us a first, and we take that first and package it with Nurk, so we don't have to completely.
Well, we have three first rounders, right? Because we traded it.
That's right. Yeah.
We traded the 2031 pick for 3
protected.
Are those 3 protected?
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
they're not. They're the worst of like 3 teams.
Yeah.
Or something like that. Yeah. Let me ask you this. We talked about Grayson Allen. You would not be happy to see him go. What if some team says, hey, you know what, to get Jimmy Butler or to get something that you know is going to improve this team, Ryan Dunn or Oso, they got to go. No. Look at that. Look at that. All right. You like these rookies, huh?
Yeah, I like those rookies.
All
I'm
right.
very adamant of the Suns keeping them.
Well, since I don't think he'll be on the team next week when we do it. Here we go.
Here goes a flush, savage slam dunk. Rebound with the sound of this welcome funk. Bossy and beast.
Rumor has it that's actually the last dunk Yusuf Nurkic ever had in the Suns uniform. Was in that clip. All right, prediction time, sir. We've got, as I mentioned, the Blazers games, both in Portland. Then we travel to Oklahoma City on Wednesday to take on the Thunder. And before we record again, we will be back in Phoenix on ESPN Friday night against the Utah Jazz.
ESPN?
Utah
Jazz? Are you serious?
I don't know. Can they flex that game out? They might be able to. Or the league might have like a rule that even terrible teams get a little bit of national coverage. Yeah.
Why not Suns versus OKC? ESPN.
Well, that's the funny thing. The very next night, Saturday, after we record next week, we'll play the Denver Nuggets. That's not the ESPN game. The ESPN game will be against the 10-36 Utah Jazz. And there might be some new faces on both teams. Honestly, the Jazz, they've got some good players that it's not a team right now. And they want to shop that and get off it. So.
That reminds me, the NBA sent a happy birthday greeting to the Phoenix Suns. Drew Eubanks. Check out their Twitter account. I retweeted that.
The NBA Twitter account said happy birthday to Phoenix Suns player Drew Eubanks?
Yes, this morning.
Like a couple days ago or what?
No, this morning. I retweeted it. I quoted it.
How upset would you be if Drew Eubanks came back to the Valley at the trade deadline?
I was like, did they trade for Eubanks and did not report it because it's
Drew Spankbanks.
It was garbage. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, excuse me. Where is Lauri Markkanen in this trade? There's no way we take Drew Eubanks back unless there's a player of caliber coming in.
Oh my goodness. Oh gosh. But my prediction would be 2-1. Those two being.
Oh no, sorry. We got 4 games: 2 Blazer games, Thunder game, and then the Jazz.
Oh, and then the Jazz 3-1 then.
3-1, yeah.
Yeah.
I'll say this about the Blazers. They're all of a sudden getting a little edgier.
Yes.
And Scoot Henderson all of a sudden is producing. It's taken them a long while to get going. And what they have, Shaden Sharp and of course, the Suns' greatest center of all time, DeAndre Ayton. But we'll see. Like I said, DeAndre Ayton's driveway might be frozen, which if that happens, I would not blame the Blazers for just firing him immediately. Okay, yeah, I'm going to go 3-1 too, and I think you're right. We'll take care of the Blazers. We'll take care of the Jazz, even with the new faces, whoever they may be.
I've got a question for you, Jake.
Please, ask away.
Yes. So, what's your advice to Suns fans this upcoming deadline?
Pucker up, Buttercup.
My advice is kind of lengthy.
You know what's funny? It's if we get Jimmy Butler, I'll go all in. I'll go down with the ship, and just like all of us, I think probably
we all are.
Yeah, and we'll just fingers crossed. Maybe we can make something work. If it's not Jimmy Butler, if it's the Spicy P fanning the flames, Paul from fanning the flames, blow it up style, and I agree with him. We don't even necessarily have to blow it up. We could retool on the fly, I think, by moving Durant for key parts and building an actual bench and depth. I would like that. I think it's going to be a harder sell to Suns fans, but I think I would feel like the window of progression is a little bit wider.
Yeah.
I'm almost just worried that nothing will happen, but with Ishbia and James Jones, I think we both know that that's not going to happen. Something's going to happen.
Something's going to happen. We just don't know if it's something big or not. But my advice to Suns fans, just relax, tweet out any rumors that you can think of in your head, and maybe your name will be in the odds for breaking it out, or like for doing the breaking news, just like one insider does. So there you go.
Any names you want to leak there?
No, but it kind of rhymes with bright side of the sun, but I don't want to associate that name to the bright side of the sun.
Oh, okay.
All right. So,
All right,
is that Bruce in the chat? Hey, Bruce.
Oh yeah, Bruce, of course. These Boston Celtics guys want us to go, grab Obi Toppin because they just really don't want to see us do well. No, wait, he just got traded to the Clippers. Is this real? Drew Eubanks got traded to the Clippers? No, seriously?
I don't have a phone with me, but I have Twitter.
Oh, hold on, let me check. I feel so bad for the Clippers then. Let's see. Check the news.
Shams.
Okay, I'm not seeing it there. There's a lot of.
Here we go. PJ Tucker, Mo Bamba, and future second-round pick for Utah Jazz, or to the Utah Jazz for Drew Eubanks and Patty Mills.
Well, I guess that confirms PJ Tucker is not going to be coming back to the Valley to team up with his old buddy Book and discuss shoes. Somber way to go.
Yeah, as long as it's not Drew Eubanks back to Phoenix, I'm good.
Oh God, yeah, no, that's where I'm at. All right, Suns fans, Planeteers, we've burned enough of your time with the rumor mill. When we be back, there will be no more rumors. We'll know what we're going to war with for the rest of the season. So just hope for the best. Don't expect the worst. Just expect that it'll be interesting. So with that, Mal McCoy. Oh, follow me at Fallen Founder. Follow Kevin at where?
I'm Kevin PS with Twitter, and please don't forget, buy some beer.
But thank you. Yeah. Oh God, I put that in the chat. Thank you for reminding me. Buy us a beer if you like it. That way we can get drunk with you guys at the trade deadline next week. So thanks so much, guys, and we'll leave you with the best stuff. We're never going to change this Al McCoy outing. If anything, we'll just improve upon it. But Al, he's with us.
Wherever you are, whatever you're doing, stay with us as the Suns get set to shine here on their home court.
Here's Perry. The guard hurt. Here's the jump shot. Good! It's good!
Al McCoy with you courtside. Pumped up a three.
Suzanne! He ties it. ADA. Al and Tim up here.
happy birthday!
Right. Yeah.
I know it's the moment. Happy birthday, baby!
Here's Cameron Payne out on top. Durant, three-pointer straight away.
Suzanne! I just want to take this opportunity to thank everyone in this arena this afternoon, to all of those that are watching and listening on radio and TV. Thank you for allowing me to tell the story of the Suns for 51 great years. that pretty much wraps things up here. And for one last time, this is Al McCoy saying thanks for being there. Thanks for being with us tonight. And from the Footprint Center here in downtown Phoenix, we'll just say so long for now.